derp derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derp.
Welcome to another episode of Let Us Cast. I am Andrew. With me, as always, is Bruce.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, man, it's another day. And,
The Earth is still spinning. Now with a couple extra feet of snow on it in our neck of the woods.
See, this is one of those times when I wish Billy Joel was right that the world's burning and whatnot. Like, get rid of this fucking snow. I'm tired of this shit.
We didn't start the fire.
No, dude, I almost had a fucking like emotional breakdown just like shoveling that shit.
Why was it that bad?
Yeah, so we got about 2 feet down here.
Dang.
So yeah, so stupid me didn't like do any shoveling or like snow blowing yesterday. I know phrasing, but use a snowblower yesterday to like try and minimize like what I would have to do today because I mean we saw our neighbors doing it and like 5 minutes later they go back in the house. It looked like they didn't even touch the fucking driveway because it's just covered with like fucking 3 more feet of snow. So it's like, all right, screw it, we'll just do it tomorrow. So now it's just me shoveling this shit. Because my dad's not here anymore, and even if when he was, he had a heart
He
condition.
probably shouldn't.
No
Yeah.
way he's fucking doing that.
Yeah.
My mom's gonna be going in for surgery next month. I don't remember if it's knee surgery or hip surgery, something like that, but regardless, she's in a lot of pain, has trouble walking. So
yeah, she can't do it either.
Yep. And then, when my brothers lived here, like they didn't fucking do it because like anytime they got asked to do something around here, they came up with something like, "Oh, we're playing poker right now. We're playing poker. No, we're in the middle of a game right now."
Playing poker.
Yeah, they were playing online poker, and they didn't want to stop their fucking game.
Wow.
To get groceries or shovel snow or anything like that. So it was usually fucking me doing it.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. So it's just me doing everything today.
Oh man.
That
sucks. That sucks. Hey man, there is reason to celebrate though. I don't know if you know, but this episode is since we started doing this again, this is our 50th episode, dude.
Ah, well then.
Yeah, isn't that cool? We should have had a cake.
I should have had an emotional breakdown. You're right.
That's how we celebrate.
50 of this shit. When is it gonna get sick of this?
It never stops.
He's nothing but an egg-sucking dog.
I don't see shit in this cast.
Oh man. Well, aside from shoveling snow, what have you been up to, my good man?
Just been working a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty much any like spare time, it's cleaning uniforms to go back to work and fucking just helping a friend of mine out lately. So yeah, there's been that.
Yeah. Lots going on.
Yeah.
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 I was lucky enough I actually had 2 students cancel on Friday, so I ended up doing my only other one remote. And then on Saturday, because of the blizzard, I ended up working from home for that as well, which was kind of nice. So I've been home ever since Friday, and it's felt kind of like a little vacation. It's cool. Like I just bomb around the house, and then a certain time comes up, I have to hop on Zoom and do a guitar lesson, and then I hop off, go grab a bite to eat, and it's like, oh, time to teach another lesson. Come sit down at Zoom, do that, and just kind of keep bombing around the house in my pajamas, man. That's a pretty sweet way to live, I gotta say.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah, I love it.
Fucking A.
Yeah. Part of me, like, I didn't really like doing the virtual lessons. Like, I have had to do at least 1 or 2 of them at school, and drums in particular were a problem. But I think it's because the internet connection that I have at school is really terrible. So, like, I'm watching these drummers, and it's like delayed. You know what I mean? So it's like I can't tell if they're doing things correctly or not. I'm like, good. I don't know. Like, I think that was right. Like, I see you moving, and I can't really hear it. I can't hear the metronome, but. Yeah, so it's just one of those things that you make do. But doing it at home, I have a nice stable internet connection, so it works out fine. I can actually see and hear people and what they're doing and everything.
Right, not only that, but like you're at home, you're just like, okay, well, I'm saving gas, so I don't have to drive anywhere.
Yeah, no
like,
kidding.
If I need something, the kitchen's like 10 feet away.
Yeah, which is dangerous, especially on days like today when Liz made banana bread, and it's like, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just had me some of that. It was good.
Oh shit! But you put chocolate chips in it or no?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say you fucking better. You're fucking going there, man.
Chocolate chips, walnuts, good stuff, dude.
Lost me at walnuts, but all right. To each their own, I suppose.
Bananas and nuts, man, they go together, you know.
Well, yeah. Well, you know.
Well, you know, it's the banana nut muffin cake. So I guess in a way I had cake because, banana bread is kind of more cake-like than bread-like.
Yeah, it's definitely more like, I'd say it's more muffin-like than anything.
Yeah. Damn it, now I want muffins.
Dude, just banana bread muffins. There you go.
I think she made 2 of them as muffins. So yeah,
there you go.
I could go out and...
Make
I'm leaving.
Wait. Put frosting on them. Now you got banana bread cupcakes.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Yeah, now we're talking.
That's like, I've never been really a fan of like carrot cake, but if you put like the right, what is it? Like people do like cream cheese or something, frosting or something like that, then I could go for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's usually like a cream cheese frosting. I don't know, man. I don't know. Cream cheese frosting comes off really fucking wrong to me. I don't know why. It's just, it's like I can taste the cream cheese like more than anything, and it's just like it's so off-putting for me.
You're like, I'm not here to eat a bagel.
Yeah, really. Like, wouldn't even put cream cheese on a bagel.
You don't put cream cheese on a bagel?
No.
What do you put on a bagel?
Butter.
Oh, okay.
Pepperoni, or you
make like a sandwich out of it.
Or make a sandwich out of it.
Sandwich. Yeah. That'd be my move, honestly.
That's what a bagel is for, god damn it.
Man, I remember at Riv, I used to get a bagel and cream cheese like in between class, not like literally in between every class, but I used to get them fairly often and bring them to I remember like music history when I took that class. I would be sitting in the back like nibbling on a bagel and cream cheese, and it's like, Bruce, what is your answer? And I'm like, bagel. Can't talk, bagel. I'm sorry, I'm busy.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
I gotta say though, I think it's one of the best bagels I've ever had is when you took us to one in Jersey.
Yes.
And I got like an egg bagel and I forget what other one, but man, those are some good bagels, Walter.
Yeah, dude, those were the bagels that I grew up on.
Yeah,
Like,
those are.
I went out of like I made sure we kind of went out of the way a little bit just to go there.
Yeah, it was worth it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like anytime I go back to Jersey, I always try and pick up some more of them.
What's the name of the place? Let's give them a quick little plug.
It's Plaza Deli and Bagel.
Right on. For the one person who's gonna watch this.
Yes,
you're
the
in
one
Jersey.
person's gonna watch it's gonna be like, I fucking know that place.
I love that place.
No, the thing is, man, it's like this small like hole in the wall place, in like I don't even know if it's considered like a strip mall in Clifton, New Jersey, but it's like behind a Pizza Hut or something like that. At least I think it's still a Pizza Hut there, but I don't know, dude. Shit always changes when you even go back there.
That's true. Well, I mean, shit changes all the time, honestly. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I just went up to Guitar Center the other day because I had to have my guitar repaired, and the Models that used to be up there is gone. So not like I really cared about Models sporting goods, but it's gone.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Pandemic, not a lot of people engaging in sports, and I imagine of all places, like Models is like not really the go-to place for sporting goods. But what do I know?
Nah. I like the only like sporting goods places I could think around here is like there's like a Dick's Sporting Goods in Warwick or something like that.
Yeah, probably a lot of people go to Dick's.
Yeah. It's
Lots of people go to Dick's, man. That's how we all get here.
Well, some people like banana bread and you know.
Some people like walnuts with their bananas, and some people go to Dick's.
It's Dick to go.
But yeah, man, I also spent the rest of my my Crumble Cookie gift card that one of my students gave me for Christmas, because we talk about Crumble Cookie a lot in our lessons. I guess they love Crumble Cookie.
All right.
So yeah, so I went up there and I got the last of my Crumble Cookies.
Oh,
it was good.
All right.
I love
Ultimate test. What did you get?
Honestly, I just got a plain milk chocolate. But the time before that, when I got 4 of them before the concert that we went to a week or two back, that's where I spent most of it. And I really like their plain ones. So I got 2 of the milk chocolate chip. I got a Rocky Road and a Reese's.
All right. Fair enough.
And no shame, I ate like 3 of them in one day. I was like, I don't care.
Like 3 of them?
Only 3 of them.
Oh,
They're
no.
big, dude. They're like this freaking big, man. They're huge.
Cookies.
Dude, they're big.
Ooh, 3 cookies.
They're like the size of my head. I hold it up and I'm just like, I can't see myself. It's like a cookie monstrosity. A cookie-strosity.
See, now, if I were you, man, here's what I would have done.
Uh-oh.
Now,
Like
wait,
a
hang on.
cookie
Were they
cake?
like... Well, yeah. Something I would have done, yes. But no, I also would have like put a couple like holes in the cookies and just put it up as like a Silence of the Lambs mask.
Yeah. Hello, Clarice. Do you prefer milk chocolate or Rocky Road?
Which wine do you suppose goes best with dark chocolate chips? Suppose a nice red wine.
I do like how they like rotate out flavors. Like this week when I went, they had like a Rolo one and like a cinnamon sugar one or something. Like I like how they do that. That's pretty smart. Yeah. Have you ever been there, Crumble Cookie?
Can't say I have. I know there's like a place in Rhode Island and whatnot. It's called like Insomnia Cookies.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, they're pretty good from what I remember, but yeah, I've never been to a Crumble Cookie.
I don't know if there's any nearby or not near you. In fact, the only one that I know of is in Nashua. So,
Okay, so
I don't go there very often because, I mean, it is a chain, but I don't go there often unless I'm like going to Guitar Center, which is pretty rare. I don't really go there.
Well, yeah, I mean, 'cause it's kind of out of the way then.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the first time I went there though, I was like, these cookies aren't really worth it. But it was honestly a lot of angst out of the fact that I had to wait 45 minutes to get, because they had just opened. It was like the first day or like the second day they opened, and I waited in line for, I think I told the story. I waited 45 minutes in line for a cookie. I delayed a lesson to try to get a free chocolate chip cookie. And I was like, this wasn't worth it. But honestly,
like, fucking animal.
But honestly, in hindsight, it was worth it. Let's be real. I was just impatient that day. I was like, I don't want to wait 45 minutes for a cookie. Like, would you rather bake it yourself? No. Okay, you win.
All right, fine.
But crumble cookie, that's something that hasn't been there. Like, I forget what was in there before. I know there's like David Bridal's right there. That's been there a while. But like crumble cookie, I don't know what that was. There's a Five Guys there. That hasn't been there. So talk about things changing. Like, you go back to places every once in a while. Like, if you haven't been there in years or something, all of a sudden it's like, wow, I don't even practically recognize the place. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also like anytime I go back to New Jersey, it's once every like, oh, maybe 2 years, something like that.
Oh, you actually go that? I didn't know you went that often, actually.
I mean, I haven't been in a while, but you know, I do plan on going back eventually.
Yeah. Are you waiting for like pandemic to kind of settle down a little? Is that what it is, or?
Yeah.
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 Don't
One of
blame
the
you.
things one of the things I'd like to do is take my my uncle who lives in Jersey to a Devils game. And I mean, you know, got a heart condition and whatnot. He's, you know, I mean, granted, yes, he is vaccinated. He's got the booster shot and whatnot, but he, you know, it's like, do I really want to take that chance? And, you know, like, guy's got bad knees and whatnot. So I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Is it worth it for a Devils game? I mean, Devils are cool and all, but it's not worth getting COVID and dying over. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, you know what? Wait till everything settles down. And then, you know, hopefully I can take him to like a Devils Rangers game because he's a big Rangers fan for some fucking reason. That's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't even know you anymore.
That's funny. There's a guy when I used to work at this company called InstallerNet. We used to have to call out to different like installation techs and whatnot. And there was a guy who was based in New York who was a big Rangers fan. His name was Igor. Dude was awesome. He would like send us pizza and stuff. Dude was really cool. Yeah, yeah. But like I remember talking to him when right around the time, this was like right around playoffs time that year, and I think the Rangers were playing the Penguins or something because he was bashing the heck out of Sidney Crosby. He was like, Sidney, that's a girl's name. Like, what is with Sidney Crosby? He can't even really play. And I'm like, hey man, I'd root for the Rangers before I'd root for the Penguins. So yeah, man, I'm with you. Go Rangers.
Keep in mind, this is a team that had a goaltender for 15 years named Henrik Lundqvist, and they called him King Lundqvist, and he never won a fucking championship. So I don't want to hear shit from Rangers fans.
Yeah, what kind of king is that? Like,
yeah, that is
a bad king.
Yeah.
I didn't know they called him King Lundqvist.
They called him King Lundqvist.
What a misnomer.
Yeah, it's like
king of what? Failure?
Yeah. Oh no, it's also
mediocrity.
Well, it's also like to this day, I remember, what was it? The Bruins had won the Stanley Cup with Tim Thomas's goaltender, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be better than Marty. He's gonna be better than Marty." I'm like, I'm still fucking waiting for him to be better than Marty.
Then the dude retires like the next year or the year after.
Yeah, the dude retires like a couple of years later. After he stopped playing for the Bruins, he played for like the Florida Panthers for like 2-3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, then the Bruins fan came back. Oh, Tuukka Raski's going to be better than Marty. I'm like, I'm still fucking waiting for fucking Tim Thomas to be better than Marty here.
I was definitely a Tim Thomas fan. I don't know if I would have said that he's going to be better than Marty Brodeur, but I was never really a Tuukka Rask fan, to be honest with you. I always thought Tim Thomas was better than Tuukka Rask, but
no, I mean, especially like considering that, you know, Thomas's age around that time, it's like, all right, you're telling me that he's going to rack up more wins than Marty, have a lower goals against average, more shutouts, playoffs, and fucking regular season, more Stanley Cups than him. I mean, I'm still waiting here.
Yeah, just mathematically, not exactly logical.
Yeah, mathematically, like that's not fucking happening.
What age did Marty end up retiring at?
Marty ended up retiring in his early 40s, actually.
Oh wow, that's actually younger than I would have thought. Yeah, I thought he was playing for a lot longer than that, honestly.
No, his career was like maybe 20 years, something like that.
I mean, that's long. I mean, let's not kid. That's a long career, but it's still not as long as I thought it was for some reason.
No, it felt longer because the dude played in 3 different fucking decades. So
Well, yeah, that's probably what it is.
yeah, I mean, there's that too. But
Didn't Gretzky do that too? Didn't Gretzky play in 3 different decades?
I think Gordie Howe might have.
I mean, definitely the 90s, definitely the 80s.
Yeah, but he never. I don't think he ever.
But he never played in the
2000s.
2000s. No.
No, he never played in the 2000s. So.
Yeah, because he hung it up, what, around 98, 99?
Gretzky, he hung it
Yeah,
up.
or was it earlier than that?
Oh God, I don't even remember. I just remember he played a little bit for the New York Rangers and then he retired.
Speaking of the Rangers.
Yeah. Hang on one sec. What year did Gretzky? There we go. He retired in 1999.
Okay, cool. I was right.
Yeah.
Because I said 98, 99. So, yeah, right on. Go me.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. So, according to this, Gretzky retired from professional play after the 98-99 season and was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1999. Which, I mean, for most sports, like there's usually like a 5-year wait period to get into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot.
But when you're Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, when you're Wayne Gretzky, I think you make a bit of an exception.
Speaking of Hall of Fames, and not to derail us too much here, but have you heard that Jeff Hardy turned down the Hall of Fame nod? And actually, I heard that The Rock had done something similar, where like a year or two or some years ago, they were like, "All right, Rock, Hall of Fame," and he was like, "Not yet."
Yeah. So
I think that's like noble. I think I say like good on you, man, for acknowledging like, you know what, it's a little too early.
Yeah. And like, and there's a little bit more to the Jeff Hardy story, and I don't fucking blame him at all for saying no.
Okay, so this I'm not aware of. So what is the more to it?
So the more to it was he was asking for the results of a drug test that he had taken. And apparently it was 6 weeks later that he finally got the drug test results because, everyone's like, oh, everybody's thinking like, oh, it's a drug thing. Maybe he's back out, he's off the wagon again.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, his test result came back negative. So essentially WWE released him for no fucking reason. So the other speculation is that fans kind of noticed that he kind of got dropped on his head a little hard on the that last match that he had. So they were like, yeah, he was a little sluggish. He was kind of, looked a little confused at moments. So,
So he could have just been concussed.
He could have been concussed.
Yeah.
So,
although I think people were saying like, well, then why would he go through the crowd? But if he's concussed and he's confused enough, then who knows what the hell he would do? It doesn't mean he's on drugs. Like,
no,
I never. I mean, a lot of people jump to that conclusion because of his past, and I mean, sure, like I'll admit, I think I went there too myself. Of like, I hope it's not drugs. That doesn't necessarily mean that I was thinking that it definitely was. It's like, well, let's see the facts. You know what I mean? But like. But if you're gonna say, oh, he went through the crowd because he was on drugs, well, he could have just as easily been concussed and had no idea what the hell he was doing or thought he knew what he was doing, but
yeah,
he just wasn't in the right mind space. So, who are we to judge?
No, but now the big speculation is that he's gonna go to AEW and reunite with his brother.
That would be cool.
And I'm like,
although AEW seems to be filling up with all kinds of people.
Yeah,
I heard like Danhausen, who I'm not even really familiar with, but I know of his name, and I heard he just debuted.
Yeah, he just debuted. He really didn't do anything, but it's just still, it's like,
yeah.
I think I saw like one of his matches. Like, general consensus is he like the greatest wrestler of all time? No, but he's definitely like a good character to have.
That's what I've heard. Is he's a character wrestler. You think of like Ultimate Warrior, but just not flashy and whatnot. But like,
I'm sure Danhausen has more moves than Ultimate
Warrior. Well,
I
should hope so. I did hear something funny where someone said like they kind of said the same thing as you. They've seen like a match or two of his, and one of them was in a bar, and like he was kicking people to the song Tequila. Yeah. So he was like kicking people at the bar like to that song. Bang, bang. Like, so again, like he's meant to be funny. He's not meant to be taken seriously and like, oh my gosh, look at the amazing moves he can do. He's meant to be like, he's hilarious.
Yeah, like he's a good character.
Yeah, and as much as I love corny, like that same person brought up the fact that there has been comedy in wrestling since a long time ago. Like think about back in the '80s, you had I think his example was George the Animal Steele, who when he was a babyface, he was goofy as all hell. He pretended he couldn't talk and had the little mine doll and stuff, and would eat the turnbuckles and stuff. Like to say that there was never comedy in wrestling and that comedy is ridiculous. Like even Dustin Runnels there did a interview, I think it was a couple of years ago, but he was like, people who say that funny doesn't draw money, they're wrong. Funny does draw money. And he used his example of the stuttering Goldust. Like, yeah, WrestleMania. And that stuff that he did. It's like, that's hilarious. I mean, it's probably in bad taste, but it worked.
I mean, put that argument aside for a quick second. That angle got him on Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember if he was still on like terrestrial radio at the time or if he was just about to go to satellite or something like that. But regardless, like that gave WWE access to millions of listeners.
Yeah.
And even if like 10 of them like bought the pay-per-view, hey, that's 10 more than we had.
Did you ever have you ever heard that interview where he talks about like the origins of like why he did that and how it started and all that?
Yeah, I think it was like one of those like inside the ropes interviews or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, where he just wanted to pop the boys and stuff, so he'd do it at an airport and that is fantastic. And you gotta love when that sort of stuff happens, and then like people backstage catch wind of it and they're like, God damn, pal, you're gonna do that. Ha ha. Stuttering Goldust. Oh man. Tourette's Goldust.
Dude, I think that angle was going on like when we were in like freshman year when we were in college.
Was it really?
Somewhere around there. As who was it? I remember our buddies Glove and Toto, like they were rooming together freshman year, and like every now and then like I'd go over to their room and watch fucking wrestling, and that was going on and whatnot.
Pop goes a weasel goes pop. Like, what? Like, of all the things, man, like a stuttering wrestler, or a wrestler with Tourette's, more specifically, actually.
Yeah,
because not just actually the stuttering thing was done already. Bubba Ray Dudley did that in ECW when he did the "My name is buh 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 buh," and someone would like hit him with a chair or something. He'd be like, "My name is Bubba Ray Dudley," and like pass out. So that's been done too. So like making fun of people's speech impediments is apparently another thing in wrestling, although we can't really do it anymore apparently. So
no,
not a good idea.
I mean, I think it's just like any other thing. Like if you can do it well, like if you can add like a new twist to it, I think you can get away with it.
Yeah. Well, plus too, like just because you're, I wouldn't say making fun of it. I mean, there's a difference between it's not really making fun of it. There's a difference between making fun of it and copying mannerisms or something. Like that's not mocking it necessarily. That's just like having fun with it. And if you can't take a joke of like, listen, we're not like insulting you, then I think that might speak to people being a little bit too.
It's also uppity. Like, if you have like a baby face, for example, that has like Tourette's, for example, and he starts doing that during a promo, and then you have the heel like making fun of him and like doing it in return to him. I think you can get away with that because the baby face goes over the heel.
Right, exactly. Yeah, as long as the baby face beats him and sort of shows him up, then people would probably be okay with it.
Yeah,
but otherwise, Tourette's is buried. They should just go to AEW and become champion with Danhausen. Because if they don't, they're buried. Because we can't enjoy things unless we have our way. When did wrestling become like that? When did wrestling become like, it has to be my way or it sucks? Like, when I was a kid, I just watched it and enjoyed it. I didn't give a shit about who was champion or whatever.
No, but when you became an adult, you started hearing, like, the behind-the-scenes stories, and you're just like, holy shit, like, this is more interesting.
Yeah, but to be honest, I still didn't care about who was over or whatever. It was like, I mean, I would predict, like, we would have this, like, we would do this thing in our house where we would watch pay-per-views and we would predict the card. Like, so we would print off the card and everybody would pick, like, who they thought was going to win. I usually would pick, like, who I thought was going to win and who I wanted to win. So, like, only the one that I thought would win would actually count for, like, winning the prize or whatever. But we would have, like, this little prize at the end. Whoever guessed the most correct would. So some people, like, they would read the dirt sheets or whatever and know what was coming. But, like, even without that, you could kind of see where things were going, but it doesn't change how much I enjoyed it. It was like, all right, the person who I wanted to win didn't win. Like, Bret Hart didn't win, Ultimate Warrior didn't win, Undertaker didn't win, but who gives a crap? It was still enjoyable. Or sometimes it wasn't, but that's not because the person didn't win. It's because it sucked.
Well, no, it's also frustrating sometimes because like when I got back into wrestling, when I started working in radio and whatnot, Dolph Ziggler was like starting that fucking skyward trend. Like he was going fucking play. Like he was moving up the mid card and whatnot, and like you could tell, like this guy's got something. He's really fucking good at this. And then, the big crescendo being, he wins the Money in the Bank night after WrestleMania, cashes in on Alberto Del Rio. Place is going fucking nuts. Like it's one of the biggest pops they've ever had from a fucking crowd. Ziggler wins the fucking title, and a month later he drops it and doesn't get back into the title picture, like really ever again. And like the behind the scenes story is like, keep in mind, like I didn't hear the story until years fucking later, but I was a fan just going like, what the fuck? Like he gets injured, has to give up the title, and they're like, we got nothing for him. We got nothing for him. We're gonna have him just do this instead. But the behind the scenes story was a writer came on a podcast about this. He said when somebody asked him like, all right, so after like Ziggler wins the title, like what are we gonna do for him? Like what's the direction you kind of want us to go in? And he's like, I just want to make it clear, he's not going to be a long-term champion. We're just having him cash in the Money in the Bank because it's the right thing to do. And I'm like, do you not hear this?
Well, let me ask you this though. Did that at all change how much you enjoyed watching his matches or his programs that he was involved in?
It did, actually. It really affected it because, like, dude, I remember going to like a SmackDown taping with my brother Bennett Mohegan, and fucking Ziggler comes out against, I think it was like Alberto Del Rio or Fandango or something like that. And I just looked at him. I said, dude, I like this Dolph Ziggler guy, but he's not going to win. He's like, why don't you think he's going to win? I'm like, because he's Dolph fucking Ziggler. And sure enough, he kept losing and losing and whatnot. And like, you can make the argument like, oh, he's trying to put, this other talent over and whatnot. It's like, well, yeah, but at least like make me believe he's got a chance at this.
I guess, but I mean, not everybody can get over. That's the thing. And everybody has their time.
But that's the thing. He was over. He was fucking over. And, Vince McMahon can, save his imaginary fucking brass ring speech for whoever else can try and fucking buy it. But there have been numerous cases of, a wrestler reaching up, grabbing that brass ring, and Vince McMahon just basically going, no. We're gonna go this way with this. Thanks.
Yeah, see, I've never really cared enough about like the booking side of things to make it really to the point where like it affects my enjoyment of watching wrestling. For me, it's like the guy either wins or he loses, and if he loses, it sucks. I don't like it, but I'm not like, oh, they buried him. This sucks. He's over. Why didn't they? Like, if Bret, like, okay, here's an example. Like, what was it? I think it was like Survivor Series 1990, actually, the debut of The Undertaker, where one of the first matches early on involved the Hart Foundation, and Bret Hart was wrestling against Ted DiBiase as like the last two guys, and it looked like Bret was like kicking his ass and was gonna win, and then the final spot was like Bret does a splash, but the momentum carries him over, so DiBiase rolls him up, 1, 2, 3, pins him, and what was actually kind of cool, and I love this because Bret, again, like king of selling stuff in my book, he sits up and he goes like, fuck, and you could actually see it like on the pay-per-view. If you go back and watch, you see, I think it might have been shit, but he swore in some capacity. It was either fuck or shit. And so he sits up and he's like, fuck. And like, so first of all, it made it look real. And then second of all, I was like, man, like I wanted Bret to win. Like, so like the fan of me was like, man, I wish Bret had won, but was he like not over now because he lost? No. So like, that's my point.
No, I get that point of like, a guy doesn't need to win in order to get over. It certainly helps, though.
I guess. I mean, think about Piper. He never held the belt, and he was over as anything.
True. But again, that may have been more just backstage politics. But anyways, my point being though,
What's your
that
point, Andy?
here's my fucking point, dude. Okay, here's my fucking point. Granted, yes, you do not need to win in order to get over. However, if you're gonna like put this guy in like title pictures or whatnot, or just put him in a tag team, or just if you're gonna do anything with this guy, you gotta have him win occasionally, so that I at least have like the belief. And yes, I know it's scripted, all that shit, but I at least have the belief that he could possibly win it. Because then with the near falls and whatnot, it makes it so much better. Like, yeah, he's got the fucking chance. Like, anytime I saw a Dolph Ziggler match, like, after he was knocked out of the title picture, it was just, all right, yeah, he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose. He has no chance of this. And I'm not the only one that fucking noticed this. Apparently, Mick Foley's kid had noticed this years ago too. He's like, oh, you think Dolph Ziggler's gonna win the title back? No, he's not even gonna win this match. Well, why do you say that? Because he's Dolph Ziggler. Sure enough, Dolph Ziggler loses the friggin' match, and Mick Foley's like, oh god.
And you know what? I guess I can kind of see the point in that, because I think back to like Hulk Hogan. When Hulk Hogan was in a match, who was gonna win?
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, right? That's just how it was. If Hulk Hogan's in a match with anybody, it doesn't matter. Hulk Hogan's going to win that thing. And you know what? That's why people kind of turn on him. Like, people loved Hulk for a while. Then after a while, it was just like, okay, yeah, we get it. He's going to come in. And really the apex of people just getting sick of it was WrestleMania 9, where it was like Bret versus Yoko for the title, and Yoko beats him. And then Hulk comes in and beats Yoko in like 30 seconds and wins the title. And it's just like, of course he does, because he's Hulk Hogan. And it's just sort of like, so on one hand, I get that, because if it's that predictable, then it's not enjoyable. But I think there's a difference between things being too predictable and just being mad that your guy didn't get to win.
Well, no, it's also the other thing of, what the crowd ultimately wanted. Like, the crowd ultimately wanted, Bret Hart to either retain the title or for Yokozuna to win the title and, have a bit of a trial, like a bit of a run with it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, like, he just wrestles this main event at WrestleMania, and then fucking Hulk Hogan just comes out of the locker room, and the fucking part that kills me every fucking time is Bret, like,
yeah, go get my title, champ.
Like, just go get him. Go get him. He was mean to me. Go get him.
Yeah.
And then fucking
like someone who just had their lunch money stolen from a big Japanese wrestler.
Yeah, it's like, and that shit happens. Like, not only that, Hulk Hogan's coming out with a fucking black eye too. It's like, makes that fucking challenge to Yokozuna, who just wrestled the main event in WrestleMania, and he's like, okay.
Yeah. Like, and you gotta wonder, like, why was that even allowed? Why was Hulk allowed to just get in the ring and like, I'm challenging you? Like, it's not like there was money in the bank back then. He just showed, oh, I'm Hulk Hogan. I get to wrestle the champ, whenever I want, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the stories of Hulk Hogan all the time usually end with, that doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah. Man. So yeah, I guess I can kind of see your point, because if things are too predictable and they're to that level where backstage politics are just that level of absurd, then yes, it does get old very fast. But I think on some level, you have to not let that too much interfere with your enjoyment of the product, because really what it comes down to is, are the matches enjoyable? Is what you're watching? Does it look like it could be a real fight? And that's kind of my problem with wrestling nowadays. I mean, I've always known it was scripted, but like, if I were to go watch now, there's so much punch, kick. There's not a lot of actual wrestling in it. And it just doesn't, a lot of it just looks like they're just choreographing it. And it's just like, I can't get into it.
No, but here's another point. So the Royal Rumble was last night.
Oh yes. And I've heard people have been upset with it because of the ending, and I don't even know what happened.
Okay, so I'll give you a spoiler alert for the two Royal Rumble matches, because now they have the Women's Royal Rumble match, which great.
Yeah.
Fucking love that.
I think that's awesome. Yeah.
Yes. So after a 3-year absence, Ronda Rousey came in at number, I think it was 27, and won the Royal Rumble.
Good. I like it.
Is it me? Not a fan of that.
Why?
Because this should be the start to WrestleMania season, and if you listen to Bruce Pritchard's podcast, he always tells you people always want new. They want new. They want new. She hasn't been seen in 3 years, and she just shits all over the fucking fans. Like, how dare you guys, you boo me? This is such fake bullshit. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, if I'm a fan, like, even if she's supposed to be a fucking baby face, I'm not rooting for her.
But wasn't she a heel when she did that stuff?
No, she wasn't even in the company then. Like, she wrestled.
Oh.
She literally wrestled for 1 year, and then left.
Because I do remember kind of shitting on. I remember her shitting on the fans before, and even I was like, "Ooh, that's not good. You're not gonna be coming back anytime soon."
Yeah, they're not gonna fucking bury her because she's Ronda fucking Rousey.
Yeah, I mean that aside, and how she treated the fans, if you can get beyond that, then I honestly think it's a good move because it is new in the sense that, like you said, we haven't seen her in like 3 years. Imagine when and I mean, I don't necessarily like it, but when someone hasn't been around for, like Cena, when Cena comes back after a long absence, like, yeah, it's old news kind of because we've seen it before, but at the same time, if it's been a long time, like, absence does make the heart grow fonder, but I don't know.
But my other point to that being, like, you're basically telling your fans that, hey, this part-timer, this is who we want you guys to root for. Forget everybody that's here every day doing the house show circuits, doing the main events, doing the whatever they're calling the pay-per-views now, but I'm still calling them fucking pay-per-views. But you're going to tell me, like, these people that have been busting their asses, like a Bianca Belair, for example, or Sasha Banks, they're not worthy of a shot at WrestleMania because we have no faith in them. Ronda Rousey, though, whoa, she hasn't been seen in 3 years, pal. Give her a title shot.
But see, that to me is sort of that, like, that's the fact that about, like, first of all, that she's part-time, which I don't even know, like, maybe she is coming back on a more permanent basis. Who knows? Even if she's not, though, like, you're sort of like metagaming here because things that you're not supposed to know, and that is getting in the way of enjoying the show. Whereas, like, if you think back to, like, let's say this is the 90s, right? And people, generally speaking, don't have that kind of knowledge of, like, she's part-time and things like that. Some people do because some people read the dirt sheets, but most people, casual fans, don't know that kind of thing. So Ronda Rousey hasn't been seen in like 3 years. It's like 93. We haven't seen her since 1990. She shows up at a Royal Rumble and the house goes banana and she wins the Rumble. People would be losing their minds and they would be throwing babies in the air over it because it's like Ronda Rousey. But like nowadays, it's like, well, she's a part-timer and she shit on the fans. It's like, can you enjoy nothing? Like, come on.
I can enjoy things.
I don't think you can.
I enjoy our conversations. How dare you?
I just think it's a rather cynical approach. Like, so what if she's part-time? Like, who cares? That should not factor into your enjoyment of the thing. And if it does, I think that says a lot more about your priorities than it does about the quality of the thing.
No, because
that's just my opinion. That's French for bullshit.
Well then, my counter to your, as you put it, bullshit is that, again, you have the part-timers. Like, the wrestling landscape has fucking changed. Like, it's almost impossible to watch it now and not know about like some behind the scenes stuff or know that this person's a part-timer and this person has been there for a while.
I don't think that's true. I think you could just not read that shit and just watch it and be like, oh, that's interesting.
So let's for example, let's say you turned on the product and you were just like, wow, I really like this wrestler, I want to know more about them, and you start Googling them and you just go down that fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
It's kind of hard not to not avoid that in the modern age here.
I suppose that's true.
Whereas
but it's not that dissimilar from like if you wanna not know spoilers about a movie, you be careful about how, like Spider-Man No Way Home or whatever the hot movie is, and Kanto, if you will. If you don't want to know spoilers, don't try your best to avoid them. If you see something that says spoiler alert, don't click on it. And obviously you can't necessarily do that. Like you can't, not every article that comes out about Ronda Rousey is going to be like, spoiler alert, she's actually part-time for WWE. Like, of course, but at the same time, you just got to be careful about where you navigate to.
Still, my point being that, let's say like, you're at your job there was a promotion. Let's say you work like the 9 to 5, office job or whatnot, and there's a promotion available.
Mm-hmm.
You've been busting your ass. You've been there every day. You haven't been out on like an injury, or you've never been like sick for a long time, or anything like that. But you come in, you bust your ass, you do the job, you're doing it really, really well, and your manager has taken notice. And then this job opportunity comes up. It says, hey, we might have a spot for you, moving up in this company. And then you come to find out that this part-timer came in and swooped the fucking job out from under you. Hasn't had much experience. And they're just like, no. We're going in a different direction. We're going to give the part-time job to, this person here.
Fun fact, that is life. That happens that exact thing happened in the company where I used to work. And I didn't dislike the company. I didn't necessarily love the job, but they did put me in positions where I could further myself a little bit and train people and whatnot. So it's like, but there were times where like another position would open up for like another department or whatever, and they would give it instead to someone who's only been there like a couple months, instead of asking, for example, the people who've been there for a while and are good at their job. But part of that comes to, you're really good at your job. We want you to stay there because you're really good at your job. We don't want to put you somewhere else because you're really good at this job. So I don't know, man. That's just the facts of life, sir.
But you
take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and then you have the facts of life. The facts of life.
Don't ever do that again.
Thank you.
Don't ever do that.
No,
Don't take a bow. Don't take a bow. You haven't fucking earned that. God damn. But no, it's that thing where you can be frustrated about it because you're like, well, why is this person given the chance to move up and do something else where I've proven myself here?
Yes, outwardly it is, and initially it is.
You can be aggravated about that.
Initially, it is frustrating, but then you have to think about, well, there's got to be some reason for it. And like I said, the most prominent reason more often that I've found is that because you're really good at the job you're doing, we want you to stay where you are because you're doing a great job. And if we put you somewhere else, we're going to need to find someone to fill those shoes, and your shoes are going to be very hard to fill. So I understand that perspective too. It sucks for you because, well, you want to move on to greener pastures, but at the same time, it says it's you should be proud of the fact that, hey, they think that I'm good enough that I'm so good that they don't want to move me out of here. So it's kind of like 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Right. So let me tell you a story. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Can I tell you a story? Sit down.
I'd love to hear one.
Sit down.
Let me get some cocoa.
Let me tell you a story. Sit down.
I need more banana bread for this.
I would laugh so hard if a piece of banana bread just flew from the side of the screen, hit you in the head. Just
son of a bitch bastard.
Fucking Lebowski's got a cannon for an arm there. Shit.
Which would be especially impressive considering he's sleeping. He's just like, meow. Ah. The nut got me in the eye. The nut got me in the eye.
Anyways, so my story. So when I was working for AAA, now you know how miserable I was there.
Yes.
So I'll tell you this. I tried to get out of the call center numerous times before ultimately just leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an auto glass division where people would take calls like, hey, I've got this crack in my windshield. I need it replaced. Okay, call me up, schedule an appointment. Boom, we're done. I was like, shit, they have an opening there. I'm fucking going for it. My supervisor even encouraged me. She's like, look, your stats are really good. Yes. Is it going to affect the team? Yes. But ultimately, I want you to be happy here. So I applied for the job. Didn't even get an interview about it. And they took somebody else for it. So I was frustrated.
Mm-hmm. How did that make you feel? Angry. But here's the thing. For one, in that case, it wasn't necessarily like a part-timer or someone who took your spot. Do you know who took the spot or no?
No, I don't know who took the spot. But in the long run, it didn't matter because auto glass division folded. It got bought out by Safelite Auto Glass. So chances are I would have been back right in the freaking call center. Now,
Safelite repair, Safelite replace. Sorry. I'm a sucker for advertising, dude. I'm sorry.
I'm surprised
you
you're
put
not
some
like a
go-go boots on that auto glass, and I'm there, you know?
Dude, I'm just surprised you're not like a fucking jingle writer at this point in your life.
I guess I could be. It's funny you mentioned that. One of the goals, that, not to derail us again, but like I have some like long-term goals when it comes to music, and one of them is to start working on music for like people to use like for video production and stuff, and have some like what's it called, like some passive income, so I can just put stuff out there, and you know, I've got plans, sir. Thinking about well, I've started working on a book, so
oh, good.
I got many hands in many pots, sir.
Many hands and many banana breads.
Yes. but to my point, like you don't know, maybe that person was more qualified, or again, maybe they were like, yeah, he's doing really good in the call center, we got to leave him there because his stat. That's the thing, is doing really well at your job can sometimes be a curse, because then you're stuck there for that reason, because you're really good at it.
But however, again, something that I thought that they would maybe take into consideration is that, yeah, he's really good at his job here, but he is miserable here.
Yeah, they don't care about that. We're talking corporates. Yeah.
They don't fucking care. So I tried getting out a second time. Saw the travel department. They were looking to hire somebody to be a travel agent. Fuck yeah, I'll do that. Like, okay, yeah, I have to, keep dressing nicer and whatnot. I can't, wear like, a polo shirt and jeans to the, call center anymore. But I was like, all right, whatever, small fucking price. I don't give a shit. Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, you dropped, sir. All right, stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned.
Well, what in the hell happened there?
I don't know, man. You just kind of disconnected on us.
Oh, well.
These things happen.
This is what we get for not having a budget here. Anyways.
It's true.
So where was I before I was so fucking rudely interrupted?
You were talking about the auto glass and
Right. So then I went to apply for the travel department. I'm like, fuck yeah, I can fucking do this. My stats are really good. My fucking supervisor is, encouraging me to fucking go there to, to get better and do more in the company and whatnot. And again, nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
and like you were saying, like they didn't consider the fact that you were miserable in their job. And unfortunately, that's kind of the corporate way, is like, listen, you're there to help us be more productive. And, in an ideal world, they would care more about their employees. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of times you're just another cog in the wheel, man.
Yeah.
And that sucks. But, again, that's how shit runs.
Well, no, that's around that time I had my first fucking breakdown, because I'm like, I'm fucking miserable here. I want to get the fuck out of this call center, and you're not fucking helping me with this. Like, you tell me my stats are good, my attendance is really good. I'm earning fucking good bonuses. I'm doing this. My stats are off the fucking charts here, and you guys are encouraging me to move somewhere else. And when I try to, you're like, actually, no, we're gonna keep you here. We're gonna keep you here.
Well, again, that's the curse of a job well done, man. You do too good a job, you're stuck where you are. That's that's unfortunate. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, on one hand, it's nice because people recognize that you're really good at your job, but on the other hand, like you said, if you're miserable at that job, they don't really care because you're really good at it, and they want to keep you there. So it's like you're screwed. You'd almost be better off if you were to do just a little bit worse. Whatever you do, knock it down to like 80% of whatever you're at, and then you'll get the promotion.
But no, it
Never
kinda,
be
like,
too
it
good,
kinda goes
sir.
against like everything I'd learned when I was a kid. Like when I was a kid, you work hard, you get promotions, you get more money, you can have nicer things and whatnot. So I was doing this job, like, dude, they fucking hired me after 2 seasonal fucking stints,
Hmm.
and they were, I was getting raises on a regular basis, I was getting bonuses, I was doing damn good, man. But that leads to the ultimate fucking problem of the sense of, okay, well, this guy's miserable. He wants to move out of this department. Well, let's move to a new department. No, let's not. Let's keep him right there. Let's
Hmm.
keep him miserable. So in a sense, they're sacrificing a good employee for rather than retain one, because fuck it, we can just, like, yeah, we'd have another kid in here training and whatnot and take him a couple of weeks, but you know what? We can bring him on for a little cheaper. Fuck it.
And that's why I hate corporate America, because all any of them ever care about is metrics, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. They'll say, "Oh, we care about our worker," but at the end of the day, no, they care about their numbers. That's really
Yeah.
what they care about.
And like it kind of made me chuckle and whatnot, and I don't know why the fuck I held my tongue during this fucking thing, but they sent out an employee survey, and they're like, hey, eventually your guys are going to be broken up into small groups and, led to a room where they're going to go over everything with you guys, like the results of this, like, hey, this is where we scored pretty low. This is what we're going to do to try and raise that satisfaction score up, blah, blah, blah. And it was basically them just sucking their own dicks about like, oh, we scored a 4 on this thing or this and this, and everybody seems really happy here. And I don't know why I didn't stand up and just go, I'm not happy here. I am fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And like your complete lack of fucking caring about that makes me not want to be here.
And that's what they never realize. Like I mean, you would think that they would think of, and maybe they do, but from my experience, any corporation that I've ever worked in, or any even moderately sized company, that's the case, where it's like, listen, you're just another, we can replace you. We got people, especially nowadays where like nobody's working practically. You're so replaceable, That's the harsh truth of it, but it is true that really at the end of the day, all that matters to even a moderately sized company is their numbers and their bottom line.
The funny part is, like, nowadays, when everybody's saying, oh, nobody wants to work anymore, it's like, guess I'm not that replaceable then, am I?
Yeah, that's a funny point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, nobody wants to work anymore. Like, no, nobody wants to work for, fucking $10 an hour and fucking bullshit benefits.
Right.
Or
people just don't, I mean, or people are like, hey, I can get free money, so I'm going to stay home, and I'm going to get more money if I stay home, so why would I go back to work? Like, I'd be in that boat, to be honest with you. Hey, you're going to pay me more money to stay home than for me to go find a job at a burger joint? Guess what? I'm staying home.
Right, but then what does that say about, the fact of this, this burger joint? Like, you're making jack shit for fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, okay, we need to change the fucking culture of that.
Yeah. Something needs to change for sure. It seems to me like either the cost of living needs to go down or wages need to go up, but they're definitely in a huge disparity now.
I think both needs to happen.
Yeah. The rent's too damn high, as whatever that.
Yeah.
Who was it? I forget who said that. Herman Cain. Was it Herman Cain?
No, it wasn't Herman Cain.
No,
It was
somebody else.
Yeah, it was somebody running for, I think, Congress or the Senate in New York or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Like, the rent is too damn high.
Yeah, I agree. Something needs to change. I mean, that said, like, if you're working in fast food, you have to expect that like your wages aren't going to be as high as if you like are, some other job. Like that you gotta consider where you're at too. Is what I'm saying.
True, but here's the thing too. You can't tell me that you can't pay your workers more or give them benefits because, well, the cost of food would have to go up to kind of counterbalance that. Don't tell me that in one breath and then start bragging about how you've never had higher profits in the company in the next breath.
Yeah, that's
Because
just greed. But that's again, that's
just
everywhere.
greed. And then, the executives are getting, $20 million bonuses and whatnot. It's like, guys, cut the shit here. Like without these workers, like, your place would shut down.
Right. But
Yeah.
at the same time, no, they wouldn't, because again, their response would be, well, I could just find somebody else. And they're not necessarily wrong. That's the problem. Like, the reason they can be greedy is because they're right about that fact that, listen, technically, everybody is replaceable at the end of the day. Like, especially in a job like that where it's really like unskilled, and people don't like to hear that, but it's true. Like, is it a hard job? Yes, of course it is. But literally anybody can do that job. Literally. So, like, that's why they have that attitude. Is like, well, we'll just find somebody else to do it. So, and yet at the same time, they'll turn around and be like, well, you're essential workers. We care about you. It's like, no, you don't. Don't lie.
Yeah, you really don't.
You're just greedy bastards who don't want to pay for what you. And to your point about, like, oh, the price of food would go up. Do you know how many people would pay that extra, what, 5 or even 25? Well, we use the Papa John's example where the pizza would go up, what, like 25 cents?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, do you really think people wouldn't spend an extra 25 cents on a whole pizza? Like, come on, get real. Of course they would. Especially if they know, like, people buy, like, fair trade coffee for good reason because they know things are being treated right down the line. Like, if people know, hey, this 25 cents isn't just, so, Jeff Bezos can get another rocket. It's so that, Joe Sixpack over here can get health insurance. Well, here's my quarter,
Yeah,
don't care.
Here's an extra 50 cents. Fucking make sure they get good dental too.
Right. Seriously. Yeah. But they're looking after their metrics and their numbers. They don't care about you. Right? Go back to sleep, America. Here's your American gladiators. Go back to sleep, America. Eat another pizza. Like, that's how it is, man.
It is.
And it sucks. And it sucks. I'm not going to say it doesn't suck. Then there's a lot of things that need to change, but you also have to understand, if that's the game you're playing, you find a way to beat the game. You just have to find a way to beat the game.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to something that John Tafford said. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. So
he must be a
John
footballer. No.
Every goddamn time. Every fucking So John Tafford is a guy, I'm sure you've heard of his show called Bar Rescue.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes, he's that guy. Shut it down. Shut it down. He's that guy.
Okay, all right.
So a few months ago, he was on Fox News doing an interview and whatnot. I think it was like the Fox Business segment or whatever the fuck. And he was talking about, the whole hiring situation and whatnot. And he told the story about an army friend of his told him this analogy of a hungry dog is a loyal dog. This is why we only feed them, during these times, because a hungry dog is a loyal dog. He's like, and that's a good mindset to have for this business. Dude, he got fucking lit up by people. And, like, even myself included. Just going like, dude, that's the wrong fucking mindset to have for any fucking business. Like, you're just like, well, if we pay them, we pay them a little bit, they'll be loyal. It's fine. They're hungry. This is money for food. People are people. And I cannot stress that enough. They are not robots. They are not dogs. Last I checked. There is no mutagen from the Ninja Turtles that's turned anybody into a dog. This is not Ghostbusters.
Welcome to Burger King. My name is Toka. How can I help you? That's Razor.
See, exactly. Sweater, you ain't myself. The ice cream machine is broken again.
But no, dude, you have a fair point for sure, man.
But yeah, like,
and yes, that is absolutely the wrong attitude to have. But the unfortunate fact is that that's the attitude that a lot of people have.
Because they've been able to get away with that.
Not a lot of people, a lot of, like, as you go higher up the chain. As you go higher up the chain, the greed gets worse and worse for the most part.
Yeah.
It's not too often you find someone who's rich and charitable, or like even if they are charitable, it's like how much of their money are they like? How much money does Jeff Bezos give to charity? He could probably give a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
Like think about if he gave away like just like the dude has ridiculous amounts of money. If he gave away $1 million to to help, with paying more wages to workers or whatever, think about the impact that would have. Think about the impact that would have if everybody who had an extra $1 million kicking around, and that's actually a lot of people, like imagine the impact that could have on all kinds of things, from hunger to it's just like the quote from let me pull up the quote from Bill Hicks here. Hang on one second. Because it still rings true today, and it's really sad. Hang on one second. All right, so
okay.
All right, this is kind of long, but can I read this off real quick?
You may. I don't know why you're asking permission, but go for it.
Well, because I don't want you to be like, I don't want to hear it, but so all right. So this is one of Bill Hicks' most this is one of his most famous bits. And it's most people call it "It's Just a Ride," but this is Bill Hicks. The world is like a ride in an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride. And we kill those people. Shut him up. We have a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This has to be real. It's just a ride. But we always kill those good guys who try and tell us that. Ever notice that? And we let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter because it's just a ride, and we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no worry, no job, no savings and money, just a choice right now between fear and love. The eyes of fear want you to get bigger locks on your door, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love instead see us all as one. Here's what we can do right now to change the world into a better ride. Take all that money we spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it on feeding, clothing, and educating the poor of the world, which it would do many times over, not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever in peace.
Yeah.
Still 100% true today. And again, forget about even like spending the money on weapons and stuff. Like I said, if anybody like who has an extra $1 million or whatever to spare, if they did that kind of thing, like think about the impact it could have. But that's greed in action. That's why we don't have things like that.
And it's also just the priority of rich people as well, in the sense of I'm sure you remember years ago when the Notre Dame church caught on fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a big fundraising campaign. Rich people were like, no, let's throw money at it. Let's rebuild it. Bigger, better, blah, 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 blah. And everybody's like, oh, so you have all this money lying around. Why not do things to, increase education, like donate it to schools or donate it to food banks or blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, no, we want this church.
Well, the reason too is if they donate money, especially to education, then people are going to get smarter to the fact that they're being screwed. And the way that they can get people like you and I to take these jobs that nobody wants to work for less than minimum wage or at minimum wage is because we're not smart enough to do something different, or at least they think that. So their mindset is we won't fund those kinds of things because we need to keep feeding the machine. And that's really what it comes down. It's more greed. It's more taking the person out of it and just, how can I get a bigger mansion? How can I get a rocket for myself? It's an unfortunate truth in the world, but the fact is that, a lot of people who are really, really rich are that way because of how greedy they are. It's not just how hard they work, that plays into it. But it's also they're just really freaking greedy.
So this is why on Twitter I follow this guy Dan Pierce. He's a CEO of a company. I think they're based in like Seattle or somewhere in the Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was a CEO making millions of dollars and whatnot. And he said, you know what? I'm going to try an experiment. So he gave all of his workers raises. He gave himself like a pay cut, like a drastic pay cut. He went from making literally like about $1 million a year, and he cut himself down to, I believe, it was like around $700,000.
Hmm.
And then he said, anybody who comes to work for this company, like your starting salary is going to be $70,000.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, his employees were so fucking happy. He's like, productivity is up. People are calling out sick less. People enjoy their jobs better. Like, not only that, but like they actually got him a thank you. Like they bought him a Tesla as a thank you gift. Like all the employees chipped in. They bought him a fucking Tesla as a thank you gift.
Jeez. Yeah,
He's
so
like,
so much for the keep them hungry and they'll be loyal thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the wrong mentality to have, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's like I follow this guy because he makes good points about it. He's like, look, it's, you know, X amount of years after we started this experiment. He's like, we're still incredibly profitable. He's like, we're still making really good money. We're still able to pay our employees these wages. We haven't had to lay anybody off.
Right.
Like this works.
You know what I think the problem is a lot of people like, or any business really, like even if they're making a profit, they always have to keep growing. Like if we made, $1 million this year, we got to make at least $1.5 million next year. Okay, great. We did that. Okay. Now we got to make at least 2 million. Okay, great. Now we got to make at least 3 million. And it never stops. And I loved when I worked at Evoqua, one of the guys who trained me, his name was Mike, and he had this thing on his background on his computer that I loved. And it was just this little blurb of text that said, growth for the sake of growth is the mindset of or something. I forget what the actual wordage was, but basically growth for the sake of growth is the mindset of a cancer cell. And that is completely accurate. Like why, like at what point is it enough? Like when you can get a house, like when you can get a house for your family and you get a reliable car for everyone in your family who needs a car, you can put food on your table, clothes on your back. When you can meet your not even bare minimum, when you can meet your needs, whatever your needs are, as long as they're, reasonable. Yeah, as long as you can get your essentials. Why do you need more? Why do you have to keep growing? Like they say you're either growing or dying, but really, I don't subscribe to that notion.
That's the mindset of a cancer cell as well.
Exactly. Well, that's again growth for the sake of growth. Like, but why? Like, there's really no reason at the end of the day. Oh, I need to make a little bit more. That's success. No, success is you have the business running. Does it need to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger? No.
Like if I had a business, I would consider that business a success. If yes, we were making profit, we could stay in business, that I could pay my employees well, that they could have health coverage, and that everybody was happy with their job.
Right. But unfortunately, that is not the mindset of a lot of companies in general. It gets worse with bigger companies, but even some mom and pops companies can be like that. No, we got to keep getting bigger. Got to keep getting bigger. Like, why? For what reason? Well, because if we don't, then then that's a failure. Like, no. You've got a successful business. You got employees, like you said. I can pay for my employees. They're happy.
Yeah.
Everybody can meet their essentials. That is what success is, not ever growing and ever growing. Because that ceiling is just going to keep moving. It's never going to stop.
No,
so theoretically, that means you're never going to win.
Yeah, like you keep moving the goalposts, and that's it. You're never going to win.
Right. You can't possibly.
Like, Keith, tell you another story. Can I tell you another story?
Yeah.
So when I was working the donut job, thankfully I fucking left there. So when I was working that job, and I remember talking to the owner, and he was basically saying like all the things that he wanted to do for the business. Like he wanted to add a drive-through to this place. Now you've been to this place.
Yeah.
That would be fucked to throw a drive-through there.
It's a pretty small place.
It's a pretty small place, but he said, I've looked into it. And he's like, it would cost about $150,000 to do it. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. So you're telling me you would rather take that $150,000 and just throw a drive-through window onto a donut shop rather than be like, hey, I'm going to use this money to pay my employees so that they can take some time off.
Yeah.
Nope. That fucker instead tried to guilt trip me in, about taking vacation time, about, taking time off to go to a wedding where I was a fucking groomsman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was supposed to take a vacation this week too, and I had to put that off. And like, well, I don't care. I told you guys about this 7 months ago, and now you're trying to, it's almost like you want me to guilt trip me, just like, it's fine. I don't need to go to Disney, even though everything's paid for. I'm not gonna go. I'll keep making everything and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, again, it's that mindset of like, well, we need the business to grow. We need the business to grow. It's like, well, start from the ground up.
Seriously.
Like you cannot build a fucking building without working on the ground first.
Exactly. But that's the thing, is so many businesses forget that. So many.
I do. Fucking Home Depot, that was their fucking motto when I was working there. They're just like, we take care of our employees. The employees take care of the customers. Everything takes care of it. The rest of it takes care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that could not be farther from the fucking truth.
I mean, I got to be honest, man. Like I'm pretty blessed, and I do to be working in the job that I'm working now. But like that job, they're doing a lot of growth too. Like they're expanding all kinds of stuff. He's buying like instruments to sell, that company's brand and stuff like that. So he's expanding too. He is growing. But the difference is that he's also taking care of his employees. When I first got in there, it was not right around the time when I was about to go full time with him. He was like, we're going to start offering some retirement. And I was like, get out of here. Like, because when I first signed on, I was signing on under the full knowledge that health, dental, retirement, I was giving all that up, pay time off until a little while out. Like, I was giving all that up to go do this music full-time thing. And I was like, whatever, that's fine. That's the sacrifice I make. But not long into it, man, hey, we're going to offer retirement. Cool. Sign me. And they match 3%. Cool. Sign me up for that.
Cool.
Now, like in the last month or two, hey, guess what? Now we're going to reimburse you up to $100 a month for health insurance. Holy crap. All right, sweet. So like they're not offering health insurance, but it doesn't matter because they're giving me a very substantial discount on the health insurance that I'm buying. And like I said, I'm eventually going to get paid time off when I work there long enough. So guess what? It's like having a steady 9-to-5 job, except that I teach music now. And again, he's growing the company, like you said, but he's taking care of the ground as well, making sure the employees are being taken care of. Because I think he realizes that at the end of the day, if he doesn't take care of the employees, like you got nothing.
Yeah, like they're
got nothing, right?
And he's not gonna have a school,
right?
That's it.
No man is an island unto himself.
I mean, no man is
except for maybe Kurt Russell.
Like, last I checked, people are people. They're not exactly islands.
People are people, so why should it be that you and I should get along so awfully? Yeah. You know what I say to that? Hit me with your best shot. That's 2. Maybe 3. I think I broke him, folks. Maybe that's why you disconnected. You were like, I'm done.
Dude, I'm just, dude. I've been broken long before you met me.
Oh man.
Like I'm the toy that managed to swim off the fucking island of misfit toys, and it's like, like what are you? Nostalgic.
We're on the island of. Hey, who's that guy? Oh, we don't talk about him.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Andy. No. Have you seen Encanto?
No, I haven't seen Encanto.
Oh, dude, it's good.
No.
No, it's good though.
No, and it's honestly, man. Like I would check it out. Like if I went to like a friend's house and like, oh, you gotta watch this. You're like, all right, I'll check it out. But it's not my thing.
It's actually an original Disney movie for once. To which I'm like, amen. About time. Like, it's not just like some another princess story or something like that. It's like. It's different. So, and I thought it was really good, man. Yeah, I caught wind of it because of one of my students. They were like, I'm learning this song. We don't talk about And I'm like, right on. What's that? And they're like, it's from Encanto. I'm like, right on. What's that?
So but yeah, man. I don't know. I saw trailers for it. Like, I'm at least fair enough to, like, I'll look at a trailer for a movie and just be like, all right, does this interest me? No? Okay. Doesn't interest me. So.
Right on. To each their own.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it makes the world go round, sir. That and, gravity and things like that.
Yeah, and centripetal force and.
Ooh, big word.
The lack of friction in space.
Well,
It rotates on its axis. We have night and day. We have seasons.
unless you're on the equator, huh?
Well, to everything, turn.
Another copyright strike.
See, that one we got away with because that's at least fair.
That's true.
So, anyways. So I think that's gonna do it for us this week. We're gonna wrap it up here. Bruce, you got anything to plug, man? Plug your music school, man. Go for it.
Yeah, all right, yeah. So if you happen to listen to this and you're anywhere near New Hampshire, you can definitely check out Let's Play Music. If you're in Massachusetts and you want lessons from me privately, you can hit me up at bgguitar@outlook.com. I certainly would welcome taking more private students if I have the time for it, although I am pretty booked up right now. But I highly encourage anyone to get into a musical instrument of some kind or some sort of other activity besides just like sitting around watching the boob tube, because whether it's athletics or music or whatever, it really gets your brain working in ways that, or in your body in the case of athletics, in the ways that it wouldn't normally do so. Now, the thing with music is I actually just watched Jordan Peterson talk about it on the Joe Rogan podcast, where he was basically like, music is life because there's layers of it. He got into this really deep thing, and like, I'm not going to go into all that, but like, I love music for that exact reason, is it can express so much, and you can express so much if you learn enough to play as well. So that's been a tremendous help for me. Like, we talk about like this podcast is kind of therapy for you in a way, but music has kind of always been therapy for me ever since I was 16. If I was like frustrated or whatever, I always had the guitar or to go pound out a song on or whatever, or if I was really happy, I could sing a happy, like, that's the thing about music, no matter what you're feeling, there's a song for it. So yeah, man, I highly encourage anyone to take up an instrument of any kind.
Now, see, I'm going to question that right there. So there's a song for every feeling that you have, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what if I'm feeling upset because I went horseback riding, the horse threw me off? And
for that, you would listen to the Superman theme.
And I turned around, I was angry, and I punched the horse. What song would you recommend for that one?
That's what I would recommend. Thank you. No, if you're upset, then there's something that you listen to angry music, man. That's simple.
Yeah. But
there's not a song like I fell off the horse and I punched him in the face because he made me angry. Like,
no.
Maybe in country.
No, I'm actually glad you brought that up. Somebody actually brought up a good point. Now with cars getting like AI and like driving on by themselves and whatnot, they're like, eventually there's going to come a time where there's a country song about a guy's truck leaving him. Like,
my truck got too smart for me and it drove away.
Oh man.
How about you, man? What have you got to plug? Anything?
I don't know if I have anything to plug. No, I don't think I got anything. But
not even Inside of You. That's like your go-to, man.
Yeah, plug Inside of You. It's a good song. It's a good podcast. Actually posted up the Zach Levi interview on my Facebook page. If you start at like the 36 minute 30 minute 30 second mark, that's kind of where they start, the mental health talk. It's like before that they're talking about Zach's latest movie about he plays Kurt Warner, and they do that whole story. And I know you no idea who the hell Kurt Warner is, but
no.
He throw football.
Oh, okay. He do thing with the brown. Okay, got it.
So yeah, so go listen to Inside of You. Listen to Grill and JR. That's a great podcast as well. American History Tellers is really great. American Scandal. I fucking love that podcast too, man.
Right on.
I don't know why, man. I'm just kind of a sucker for that kind of podcast where it's like, it's a dark night, December 1987. The streets of Baltimore are barely lit, and young Miss Jones is walking down the street, just leaving her job. She locks the door. Like, I don't know why, I'm just kind of a sucker for that.
Podcast noir. Listen, see?
It was pretty cool, like, cause like the same guy that was doing that was doing like he did a podcast where he went like through every presidential election, like up to present day and whatnot.
Dang.
And I was like, shit, that's kind of interesting, man. That's fucking interesting. But yeah, as far as like anything else to plug, I really got nothing else, man.
Right on. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to leave now. So I will say goodbye to the audience. I will say goodbye to you, good sir.
Goodbye and happy 50th episode, sir.
Yes, happy 50th episode. Thank you, everybody who's watched this, kind of been with us. Drink's empty. Shit. Anyways. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, thanks for everybody that's been listening or watching us, and throughout all these years, the name change of the podcast, and just being in love with the back and forth between two idiots.
Thanks for being you.
It's a cold afternoon in January. The snow
Two
outside,
idiots are podcasting.
the snow is slamming outside of their windows. They're freezing. Bruce, a young man in his early 30s, like, he gets up, says, "I'm gonna go make some hot chocolate. Would you like any?" He's got marshmallows in the kitchen. He's a sucker for those.
Then he sees the banana bread.
He thought about his latest dream where he just had a crazy idea for a new sandwich. It was a grilled cheese sandwich, but instead of regular bread, he used banana bread with chocolate chips and walnuts. This is $1 million idea, he thought to himself. I have to go for it.
He lost all of his friends.
He turned on the stove.
Oh, man.
As he's putting butter in the pan, his truck leaves him. See, man, I'm a sucker for those.
Oh, gosh. That was awesome.
All right, so say goodbye to everybody, and go Niners.